If you accidentally touch this weird-looking girl's bunny ears, she becomes pregnant instantly. This story revolves around IG Hoshimiya, who, as a child, made a wish to a luscious fairy named Daisy to destroy the world. Daisy, who could turn a person's wish into a supernatural power, granted IG's wish, and as a consequence, the world was nearly destroyed, and many people lost their lives. Currently, IG is a high schooler living with his younger sister, who suffers from an incurable disease. The calamity known as the Great Destruction is now a part of IG's history class. His history teacher tells everyone about the orders, the chosen ones by the fairy who are granted superpowers upon their wishes. It is believed that one of the orders is responsible for the Great Destruction, but no one knows who he is. IG takes this personally and leaves the class immediately. He still feels guilty for what happened 10 years ago and feels insecure around people because everyone in this world hates the orders, seeing them as frightening, evil beings. One day, the wish-granting fairy Daisy comes to visit him, asking him why a supernatural being like him refuses to use his powers. IG claims that he doesn't want to destroy the world again, and that is why he refuses to use them. However, Daisy claims that IG misremembers the past, and that he didn't exactly wish for world destruction for her. Leaving IG utterly confused, the fairy disappears, encouraging the boy to use his mysterious powers once again. Still, IG continues to believe that he is the one who caused the Great Destruction, briefly explaining that he only wished for that superpower as he wanted to be like a cartoon character called the Evil Ranger, who fights for justice and world dominance. IG visits Sina at the hospital, and she shows her interest in her brother's school life since she herself has never been to school. IG understands how she feels and promises her that she will be able to attend school once she recovers from her illness. But both of them know that IG is giving false hope. To change the topic, IG turns on the news channel, where a report about another order being exposed is being broadcast. Watching this news, Sina asks IG what power he would wish for if he were to be given the chance to become an order. Now, what if you could chat with Hoshimiya IG? That's not impossible anymore. Today, I would like to present you to Poly AI, a remarkable app that has the potential to astound you and encourage you to engage in lively conversations. With over 10 million downloads, this app allows you to chat with your favorite anime character, such as Hoshimiya IG. Poly AI is a platform that allows users to create their own AI chatbot with a unique personality and voice.
Hello, I'm Donald Trump, the former president of the United States.
It provides a space for fictional characters to come to life, engage in humorous conversations. Seriously, it's that easy with the Poly AI app. Use the link in the description and use my promo code MT7 to unlock your inner chatterbox. By using my code, you can unlock premium features. Poly AI is also available on Chrome, so don't hesitate to share it with your friends. IG states that his only wish is for his dear sister to become healthy again. Sina, on the other hand, says that she would wish for him and their parents, who have passed away, to be reunited again so that they can stay together forever. The next day at IG's school, a new girl named Kiranai Rin joins the class as a transfer student. The same girl finds IG right outside of his apartment after school, but promises that she hasn't followed him here. She claims to have moved to the floor above and that her apartment key isn't working. So, she requests IG to contact a locksmith for her and gets him distracted. He chooses to trust Rin just because she is cute, which turns out to be a big mistake, as the girl brings out an electric taser and renders him unconscious. Eventually, when IG regains consciousness, he finds Rin standing with a sword, revealing herself to be an assassin sent by her superior, who has uncovered that IG is the order responsible for the Great Destruction. Rin says that she will torture IG to death and blames him for her parents' deaths, who burned to death in a fire during the Great Destruction. As she stabs IG, he unintentionally activates his superpower, which drives Rin's sword into her stomach. Not believing that he just killed someone again, IG panics and runs away from his house, cursing at himself repeatedly. On the other side, the special unit in which Rin belonged is also on the move to find IG. IG visits the hospital to meet Sina but finds the place to be completely empty. Revealing to be unscathed, Rin comes there along with some soldiers, revealing that she has taken Sina hostage. To provoke IG, she stabs Sina in the back, telling him to come to the old building if he wants his sister to live. IG loses it completely and knocks out all of the soldiers there. When he eventually regains composure, Daisy appears there, informing him that Rin is also an order who has such strong regenerative powers that she is almost immortal. And as to why Daisy is here, she claims that she just wants to see him use his powers again. To make sure that his powers don't go out of control like they did 10 years ago, Daisy limits its strength and then once again encourages him to use it to save his sister. This triggers IG's memories, making him remember that he only wished to rule the world and bring peace, just like his idol, the Evil Ranger. Realizing that he didn't wish for world destruction, he no longer feels guilty and confidently heads to where Rin is. After neutralizing her underlings, he forces Rin to heal Sina, revealing that his superpower is to bend everything to his will. He activates his domain, where all people and objects become his to dominate, and summons his order monster, which places Rin under his rule as well, forcing her to submit herself to him. IG essentially puts Rin under a spell, binding her to remain within his domain for the rest of her life and preventing her from ever harming him or his sister again. With Rin under his control, IG declares that he will create a world where Sina can live happily. Despite her defiance, Rin finds herself unable to attack IG and is forced to submit. IG empathizes with Rin, telling her that she will eventually find peace, make friends, and even fall in love again. Rin vehemently disagrees, asserting she will never fall in love again. The argument escalates until IG accidentally activates his power, proclaiming that he will marry her. This inadvertently makes Rin begin to develop feelings for IG, but even as she hugs him, she vows to kill him one day. Soon after, Rin's superior, Fran, also in order, arrives, using his powers to stop time and swiftly restrain IG before he can react. Fran takes IG to their organization's restricted facility and secures him in a straitjacket to immobilize him. Surprisingly, Rin arrives later and releases IG from all his restraints, revealing that they are inside a secret underground building beneath a government office. Rin explains that she has already incapacitated all the guards and is helping IG solely because she is under his control. However, she makes it clear that, given the opportunity, she will still kill him and his beloved sister to exact her revenge. As they attempt to escape through the ventilation duct, Rin devises a plan to harm IG without directly attacking him. She decides to shoot in the air duct, hoping the bullet will ricochet and hit IG, but her plan backfires, and the bullet strikes her instead. Though she survives thanks to her regenerative powers, Rin remains undeterred and concocts another plan to kill IG. She leads him along a dangerous path, a steep, slippery pipe connected to the other side, hoping IG will slip and fall to his death. However, it is Rin who ends up falling from the pipe. Eventually, she returns to the top, where IG, who doesn't know the way out of the facility, eagerly awaits her return. Despite her failed attempts, Rin devises yet another assassination plan. She leads IG to Section E17, telling him to cross a hallway filled with traps designed to prevent intruders from entering the inner facility. Rin hopes IG will trigger one of the traps, but once again, her plan backfires, and she is the one caught in the traps. Afterward, they reach the top floor of the underground facility, where they encounter two paths, one leading to the exit and the other to the government office's center. IG cannot leave without his sister, so he chooses to go to the office, aware that Fran is holding Sina hostage. Rin tries to dissuade IG, telling him to forget about his sister, but he refuses, even though they are not blood related. IG explains that his father married a woman whose daughter was in a wheelchair, and while he initially had no interest in his stepmother or stepsister, Sina's vibrant spirit made him accept her as his sister. However, his wish to become a world ruler destroyed everything and shattered their peace. Until now, Sina has remained unaware that her brother is an evil order, and IG blames Rin and her comrades for not letting her die peacefully, revealing that she only has 6 months left to live due to her illness, making it clear how important Sina is to him. IG advances to the office. A group of soldiers tries to stop him, but they are quickly nullified by IG's power. Realizing the situation, Rin decides to help IG rescue his sister, providing crucial information about Fran's abilities. Fran can only stop 3 targets at a time when he uses his power to halt time. Rin teams up with IG, primarily due to his control over her, and they head to the center facility, where Fran eagerly awaits IG's arrival. Rin immediately throws 3 grenades at Fran, intending to force him to use all 3 of his time stops. However, Fran simply catches the grenades and throws them to the ground, intending to make the entire place explode. IG rushes toward the grenades to prevent them from detonating, and Fran seizes the opportunity to close in on IG and bring him under his control again. But before either can reach the grenades, a masked man suddenly appears, using his power called Sleeping Sheeps to stop the grenades from exploding. He then instructs both parties to remain calm. Following the masked man's lead, several more Order's top leaders of the organization arrive and surround IG from all directions. An uncle wearing a hijab approaches IG and tells him he has passed the test. The other Orders begin clapping, leaving IG confused, as he doesn't understand why they are suddenly acting so friendly. The uncle explains that they are the city's government office's top 10 Orders, and one by one, they introduce themselves as Fuwa, Narukami, Hiragi, Io the bunny-eared girl, Lauren, Nahara, Samoku, Minamoto, Kunu, and Sundin. Hiragi steps forward, assuring IG that they never intended to harm him and shows him that Fran's time stop power is currently halting the progression of Sina's illness. Hiragi further explains that they had sent Rin to spy on him, but she disobeyed their orders and attacked him due to her personal vendetta, for which she will now be arrested and punished. Moving forward, Hiragi briefs IG on the Order's secret operations. After the Great Destruction, Japan failed as a nation, leading the United Nations to take over the country and establish interim governments run by the Orders. Consequently, the Orders, who emerged from the Great Destruction, are now the new world leaders. This is why they hold no prejudice against IG, and in this new world, they seek his help to dominate the globe, revealing that their sector has already declared itself an independent nation. IG realizes that to survive, he must become the Order's king and puppet in their mission to conquer the world. To ensure none of them ever betray him, he places them under his dominion and agrees to wage war against the world. After the declaration by IG's new independent country, Kyushu, the news of them declaring war upon the world quickly spreads across the world as well. IG's face is shown to the whole world, making the general public hate him for destroying their peace. Sina is kept frozen in time in hopes that IG will find an Order one day who will be able to cure her illness. IG realizes that both he and Sina will also benefit from this if he manages to create a world for Orders, and tells Hiragi that he will help them succeed their mission. And in exchange, they will have to find him the cure for Sina. On the other side, Rin is kept inside a small cold cell, half naked. Thankfully for her, IG is now the new leader, and he releases her from her prison sentence. He joins the other Orders for their first official discussion meeting, where Kunu explains their next operation to take over their neighboring city, Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi's interim government leader is also an Order who has petrification powers. IG doesn't actually care about the war. His only interest is in finding someone with the power to cure incurable diseases. Yet he is the one being sent to the front lines to fight the petrification user in order to conquer Yamaguchi. IG tells the others that they should be the ones fighting for him on the front lines, reminding them that no army sends their king to the front lines. Still, nobody sides with him, and Kunu makes it clear to him that he is not their king, but a puppet who is going to be following their orders if he wants his sister to live. IG cannot believe that he is being played like this. Using his powers, he has already placed this entire facility under his domain and made it so that none of the 10 orders leave this place. Yet they are not obedient to him at all, which makes him assume that the only reason they are not impressed is because he hasn't demonstrated enough of his powers to dominate them. Soon after, the Prime Minister of Japan calls IG's group to come to a mutual understanding and broadcasts their call live to the general public. Kunu, being the strategist, stays alongside IG during the call and does most of the talking with the Prime Minister. Kunu claims that only IG is responsible for this coup, and the reason they are following him blindly is because he has placed them under his dominion. That is, of course, the complete opposite of what's going on. The Prime Minister had already suspected that the 10 Orders are making this kid their scapegoat despite their claims, and in order to confirm that they are under his control, the old man reveals that he has abducted all 10 Orders' family members and tells the 10 Orders that they will now have to watch their family members die in silence since they can do nothing about it being under IG's control. The executioner begins to kill one after another member of the 10 Orders' families in front of the entire nation. IG begs the Prime Minister to stop this inhumane act, but the Prime Minister doesn't listen, stating that peace is no longer an option. As the executioner is about to kill Kunu's little brother in front of her, she begins to break. So IG steps up in order to protect her from being exposed and starts shooting at all of the members of the 10 Orders, making it clear to everyone the 10 Orders are the ones being held hostage. Although the entire nation sees that IG has killed his own allies, what they do not see is that IG has stopped the bullet from entering their bodies just in time and act to save the hostages taken by the Prime Minister. With all of the 10 members down, IG ends the call, making the Prime Minister successfully believe that he is the only one solely responsible for the coup. A few days later, the invasion of Yamaguchi begins, and IG, along with Rin, leads the operation with several armed squads. IG tells Rin that he is fully determined to take over Yamaguchi, as that way he will be able to make Hiragi and the rest of the 10 Orders recognize his power. Then, they will surely help him search for a cure for Sina's illness. Rin thinks that IG's plan is idiotic and refuses to help him. So, he forces her to help him and binds her with a condition to immediately report to him if she finds the biggest threat there, called the Rock God. As they are walking through the tunnel to enter Yamaguchi, the roof suddenly starts to collapse. Not wanting to die with IG, the squad who was with them retreats, indicating that they have no loyalty towards their new king. In the moment of peril, Io, the bunny-eared girl, shows up and uses her power of divination and predicts the perfect route for them to successfully escape. Following her instructions, IG and Rin successfully make their escape from the tunnel. Io advises IG to not pursue the Rock God, telling him that he won't be able to win against him. While Rin becomes distracted by a stuffed toy, Io leads IG somewhere else without explaining anything to him. He keeps staring at her bouncing bunny ears and almost fails to resist the urge of touching them. Sensing his hand movement, Io jumps away, telling him that he cannot touch her ears as it will get her pregnant, and if that happens, she will lose her divination powers. IG promises to Io that he won't touch her, but deep inside, the desire of doing so remains. Rin comes back with a smile, not because she has the stuffed toy with her, but because she has fulfilled her task and has brought the Rock God to IG as promised. IG uses his power to dominate the Rock God, but it doesn't work as he needs to dominate the order controlling it first. So, he has no option but to hide with Io inside a cave. He asks for Io's help to locate the order who is controlling the Rock God, but as she is about to do so, she suddenly loses her energy and falls to the ground. To save her from falling, IG instinctively grabs her bunny ears, causing her to become pregnant instantly. Because this pregnant woman is no longer useful in war, IG takes her away to safety. Meanwhile, Rin tries to save a little girl when she runs into the ruler of Yamaguchi, the controller of the Rock God, Terra. Io claims that she is not only pregnant, but is also about to give birth to her baby. IG tries to contact the headquarters to get their help, but his communication device doesn't work. Terra, with her intelligence, already had the vague idea that IG has the power to physically dominate anything at his command in his domain, and now that she has confirmed it thanks to Rin being unable to exit that domain. Knowing that Rin too wants to kill IG, Terra tells her that the United Nations are about to drop a nuclear missile at Yamaguchi to stop IG. So, she proposes that they team up and kill IG themselves before the UN takes such actions. IG also learns about the nuclear missile drop threat from Io, but he has bigger problems to deal with now. The baby. He brings her to a local hospital, where the nurse congratulates IG on becoming a father soon. It hits IG at that moment that even though he hasn't done anything to Io, the baby inside her is still his. Io tells him to abandon her here and take care of the nuke situation first. But IG refuses to do so as he cannot just abandon the mother of his child. Rin makes her decision and tells Terra that she won't be teaming with her for 2 reasons. 1, she doesn't care if the entire city gets nuked, and 2, as she wants to exact her revenge on IG herself without any outside assistance. IG manages to communicate with Rin by climbing the top of the network tower, and learning that she has run into Terra, he orders her to kill her. So, accordingly, Rin attacks her, forgetting the fact that she has the ability to petrify her targets and hence gets petrified. Terra then informs the UN about IG's location by pinpointing it using his device's antenna signals, and so the UN launches a nuclear missile from their hidden submarine. As the missile heads towards IG's location at sharp speed, Kunu asks Hiragi what they should do in this situation. Hiragi claims to not care whether IG leaves or dies and tells Kunu to tell their soldiers to retreat from Yamaguchi. Terra comes to the hospital with her rock god and attacks IG and Io. IG protects himself and Io by creating an air barrier around them. The citizens of Yamaguchi don't understand why their leader Terra is suddenly attacking them and demands an explanation from her. Tara states that IG is her target and reveals to all of them that IG is the one responsible for the Great Destruction. The citizens, who have lost their loved ones because of the Great Destruction, turn against IG and begin throwing rocks at him. Even the nurse who earlier congratulated IG reveals that she lost her only child because of him, and so she literally backstabs him, making him realize that he will never be loved by anyone because of the sins of his past. Meanwhile, the 10th Order, Aikido Sundon, comes to where Rin is and reveals himself to be the spy of the United Nations who has been giving Terra the 10 Orders' hidden intel. Terra comes down, assuming that IG is knocked out, but he takes all of them by surprise by revealing to be just fine and binds them with his Dominator with the order to cooperate with him to make sure that he doesn't die. With 3 minutes left for the missile impact, IG orders the rock god to lift him up, and as the missile comes to his visual distance, he orders gravity itself to decrease the missile's velocity and catches it before it hits the ground. The hijab uncle Narukami Benkei, along with another member of the 10 Order, Lauren Wright, jumps out of a running plane at that very moment. With Lauren's flight powers, Benkei reaches IG's location and uses his power called Aramatama to strike the missile. And as he does so, the missile dissolves into nothingness, making it clear that this man is the absolute strongest one out of them all. Apparently, the only reason they came here to save IG is because their Captain Hiragi still considers IG to be a useful tool to them. IG learns from Terra that the second missile has been launched, so he tells the citizens to evacuate. He tells everyone that he doesn't want anyone to die because of him again. But Terra finds his noble words to be hypocritical, as someone who has committed genocide, even if it is unwillingly, shouldn't even be allowed to repent. She burns with the desire to kill him for the pain he has caused to the world and commands her rock god to squish him. Benkei and Lauren step in to help out IG, and both express how grateful they are to him for stepping in and saving their family members by deliberately becoming the villain in front of the entire nation. Thanks to their supportive words, IG gets filled with determination and steps up to stop the second missile. He saves the people from falling rocks and prevents the missile from falling. Realizing that IG isn't a villain, Terra helps him as well and uses the rock god to help IG stop the missile. Aikido teleports there with Rin, and she, with her regenerative powers, heals the rock god back to its original state. with all of them working together. Benkei once again reduces the missile to nothing with a punch and saves the city from being destroyed. Hiragi, in the meantime, calls the local unleaders to cut a deal with them and proposes to tell them the absolute truth if they stop attacking Yamaguchi. Ayahido teleports back to Hiragi, revealing to have been a double agent all along to divert Yuen's attention towards Ig, who is just a decoy. Apparently, Hiragi's goal has been someone else the entire time, securing a little girl order named Tarutama Hikari who has the power to neutralize nukes. Now that Hiragi has her in his possession, he thinks that the will no longer be able to be a threat to them. Daisy, the fairy, speaks with a mysterious man about recent events, both hoping the world will soon become peaceful, like a beautiful flower garden. The 10 orders rest at the hot springs of the Yamaguchi district now that their job is done. They now have 2 cities under their control, and that is all thanks to Hoshimiya Ig. Io is no longer pregnant, and her comic relief baby has disappeared too. While the women of the 10 orders are doing what incels think women do when they are bathing together, Lauren approaches Ig, informing him that his sister Sina has woken up from her slumber. Apparently, Hiragi ordered Fran to lift his time stop on Sina, causing her to wake up. Learning this, Ig quickly takes Rin with him and flies back to their home city, Kyushu, with Lauren. On their way, Ig vents his anger at Hiragi, demanding to know why he would break their deal. When Ig reaches the apartment where Sina is being held, he finds her with Hiragi, Nahara, and 3 other men who appear to be doctors. Grabbing Hiragi by the tie, Ig demands to know what he's up to. Hiragi claims that Ig's request to the government has been granted and that Sina will now receive treatment. Ig has no idea about what in the world Hiragi is saying, so Hiragi subtly whispers to him, telling him to play along, making him realize that this is all an act to keep Sina in the dark about Ig's identity. Apparently, the shock she suffered due to her injury has caused her memories of the time Rin attacked her to become blurry. So, basically, Sina remembers nothing, and that is why Hiragi is acting like she was brought here to be treated by the country's best doctors to cure her disease. Ig is initially relieved, but becomes distraught when Hiragi reveals that Sina has only 5 months to live due to her incurable blood cancer. Ig tries to reassure Sina, but she loses hope and becomes upset with him for hiding the truth. She quickly forgives him and tearfully expresses her desire to attend school with him. Hiragi interrupts, stating that there's still hope. An order named Kamenisubai in Izumo City has the power to cure incurable diseases. Hiragi advises Ig to take Sina to Izumo City as it's her last chance. Ig decides to leave for Izumo with Sina and Lauren's help, but since it's too late, Lauren suggests that they stay the night and leave the next morning. In the meantime, Nahara reveals Sina's actual report to Hiragi, which surprises him as her order aptitude is at E level. He doesn't explain what it means but states that soon, the second great destruction will take place, and before that, the 10 orders will have to take control over the world. Later at night, Ig learns from one of the soldiers that Sina has already left with Hiragi and Kunu. Realizing that they must be plotting something against him again, he quickly catches up to the place where Hiragi and Kunu are and finds Sina unconscious there. Hiragi claims that he is only in the middle of an experiment to find out if Sina can become an order herself. Realizing that even after all this, Hiragi still wants to keep Sina as a hostage, Ig uses his powers to rescue Sina. But before he can escape from there, Hiragi uses his own powers and steals Sina back by teleporting her back to him. He then makes it clear to Ig that if he wants Sina to live, he will have to conquer Japan for him first. So, Ig goes on his journey again and makes his way to Hiroshima with Rin to make that region his domain next. After flying the entire city with the help of Lauren, he succeeds in turning the area into his domain. According to Lauren, Hiroshima is controlled by the Japanese mafia, the Yakuza, so Ig uses his powers to bring the mafia under his control and successfully makes Hiroshima his domain. In his new domain, he goes out on an unofficial date with Rin and spends the day enjoying the local delicacies with her. When Rin is about to buy some ice cream in the evening, A mysterious man who has similar powers to IG approaches her and overwrites the conditions that IG had binded her with. On the other hand, the Yakuza begins to come after IG, making him wonder why his domain is no longer working. At that moment, the mystery man Hattori Hanzo makes his appearance, revealing to be an order from the Unpublic Safety Division. Hanzo's powers let him dominate others using physical contact, and using that power, he has dominated the Yakuza and Rin to go after IG. As Rin attacks IG, he tries to regain control of her, but it fails as she's wearing headphones and can't hear his commands. Rin brutally slices off IG's right hand to stop him from using his powers. Just as she's about to deliver the final blow, Uncle Benkei and Io arrive to save IG. Rin defeats them both, so in a last desperate move, IG throws a stone at Hanzo at bullet speed, piercing his body. However, Hanzo reveals he's just a pawn, manipulated by the true enemy, who uses dark powers to attempt to devour IG. Before he can succeed, Hiragi arrives with Aihido's help and uses his power to turn the current reality into a lie, freeing IG and healing his wounds. Benkei and Io are also saved. Hiragi punches Hanzo, forcing him to flee, but Hanzo takes Rin with him, who surprisingly goes along with him willingly. IG desperately demands an explanation, and the fairy herself then appears, revealing to him that the man who is orchestrating everything behind the scenes is IG's biological father, Hoshimiya Genai. IG demands to know who was the man he saw behind Hattori and pulling all the strings. Hiragi and the others hesitate to answer, but Daisy abruptly appears and informs him that the man is Hoshimiya Genai, IG's father. IG was dubious about her claims since his father died 10 years ago during the Great Destruction. However, Daisy just stares at him and informs him Rin and Hattori are heading to Izumo. Izumo is famous for being the land where all ancient gods gather. IG was only permitted to go there if Io came along to watch over him, so the two journeyed together towards Izumo. Io notices how worried IG looks, so she uses her order to give him a prediction of the future. The prediction led them to the location Kamimusabai, the order rumored to have healing powers, located in the outskirts of Izumo. On the way there, Io couldn't help but be happy that she and IG were alone. Ever since her prophesied pregnancy, she saw how IG stood his ground and took responsibility. She was about to hold his hand to show her affection when IG abruptly mentions how sorry he is that she has to tag along. If Rin was there, she wouldn't have to be bothered with accompanying him. Io realizes that IG has been thinking about Rin all this time. She tries to confess her feelings, but IG speaks faster and apologizes first for impregnating her. He promises never to touch her ears again, which makes Io sad. Upon reaching their destination, they follow some footprints that lead them to a tunnel. All of a sudden, a cave-in occurs which forces IG to pick Io up and slide deeper into the tunnel before they get pancaked. Io uses her prediction to lead them toward the correct path. However, since she wants to spend more time with IG, she gives him false directions which lead to them falling off a cliff and into the waters. Thankfully, IG manages to save her and they make a campfire to dry their clothes. IG apologizes again for causing trouble and starts talking about Rin. This irritates Io so much that she removes her clothes and asks IG to only look at her. Whoa girl, that is one surefire way to get a guy. Io confesses her feelings, but before IG can respond, they are suddenly surrounded by multiple people. Leading them was a woman who introduces herself as the priestess of Izumo, Kamimusabai. Kamimusabai starts scolding IG for being so thick-headed and ignoring Io's feelings. She starts fantasizing about the two of them, embarrassing and weirding out the two teenagers. Someone please call the police on this woman. Io begs Kamimusabai to help them, and since Kamimusabai seems to like them, she agrees on one condition. If they are able to beat her in a game of Kemari or steal the ball without IG using his order to control the ball. IG agrees and uses his order on the air itself to make himself fly straight towards Kamimusabai. However, she deftly jumps out of his way. She further reveals that her order is the power to manifest the ancient gods, thus making her superhuman in the process. Since people also pray to these gods for healing or fertility, she can also grant those. IG realizes that this woman can truly heal his sister. They proceed again, with Kamamusabai passing the ball between her and her summon gods, while IG tries to capture the ball with Io using her prediction to guide him. Unfortunately, Kamamusabai is proving too fast for them. A few hours of playing later, IG collapses on Io's lap. Io starts wiping away IG's perspiration, which prompts IG to admit that he's not used to being liked. A classmate once even invited him to her place, but instead of going with her, IG just went home to read a manga, proving that IG is truly a virgin loser. Io caresses his cheek and tells him that he is truly self-conscious. However, she promises that she will never be taken just like Rin and they can save her together. The two hold hands and continue the game. This time, they have a better strategy. While holding hands, Io uses her 5 fingers to guide IG. This way, they can communicate faster without Kamamusabai overhearing them. Meanwhile, in another location, Rin is annoyed that IG doesn't even seem to be trying to pursue her. Hattori is leading her somewhere to introduce him to his organization, Public Safety Division 6 or PS6. Back in the cave, IG decides to use his own avatar to chase after the ball. This surprises Kamamusabai, but she is still confident that she will win. However, this turns out to be just a decoy that lets IG and Io leap and capture the ball themselves. Kamamusabai admits her defeat, but before they can continue their conversation, the guardian of Izumo and a member of PS6, Matsudera Fumai, arrives on a surfboard. He uses his order, an avatar of water, to attack them with a tsunami. They all get flushed deeper into the water, but IG uses his order to command the air to create a bubble around them. Unfortunately, they are still at a disadvantage in an underwater fight against a literal waterbender. Kamamusabai advises them to unite their wishes and their orders, something they have never done before. Instead, IG suggests that they retreat while he holds the enemy back. Thankfully, Io convinces him to at least try. Their avatars combine, which allows it to predict the path of Fumai's attack and divert it using air pressure. IG then commands a literal school of fish to attack Fumai, knocking him out. Now that is a pretty efficient way to fight a waterbender. Hee get it? Efficient. Okay, never mind. They drag Fumai back to land and try to interrogate him. Fumai laughs at them and just calls out to Daisy. To IG's surprise, Daisy actually appears. Fumai explains that Daisy is actually a program designed to grant wishes. Fumai then commands Daisy to connect them to the others, thus creating a hologram of the other members of PS6, including Rin. Hattori then instructs one of the PS6 to attack using a dimension sword, cutting both Fumai and Kamamusabai in half. Back in their headquarters, Colonel Hiragi is stroking his cactus while staring at a guy's picture when the news about Kamamusabai's death arrives. A few hours later, he congratulates IG for successfully capturing Izumo while keeping the casualties low. IG demands Hiragi to revive Kamamusabai using his order, but Hiragi explains that too much time has already passed. He then orders IG to go back to base. IG argues that he still needs to conquer Japan and find a cure for Sina's illness, but Ayahito asks him to just follow the colonel's orders. If they are not careful, then his father Genai might start another great destruction. This only further confuses IG, and he asks them to clarify or he will leave on his own. Thus, Hiragi narrates how 11 years ago, he was a researcher on Genai's agency for the government. Even back then, Genai complimented Hiragi for diligently taking care of his cactus. The other researchers got jealous of Hiragi's closeness with their boss, so they broke his flower pot. Genai comes to the rescue and gives him his coffee cup in exchange. They then start discussing Hiragi's research on a new type of technology called Vekan coils. By utilizing these coils, Genai was able to convert people's will into energy. They even managed to help a literally unarmed woman write again. Genai's praise fueled Hiragi's heart and he devoted his life to him. But then, Genai abruptly used their technology to create a program that can grant people's desires. He called it Desire Accessible Information System, or DAISY. DAISY was let loose into the world and started granting wishes. One of those whose wish was granted is IG, who caused the Great Destruction. Hiiragi was betrayed, and thus, he is now doing everything he can to keep IG from falling into Genai's hands. Hiiragi cannot accept that his father did all of these things, and he tried to escape. However, the others stopped him and informed him that Genai had already infiltrated the headquarters. The true objective of their organization is to conquer the world before Genai can influence it. Meanwhile, in the PS6 headquarters, Hattori mentions to Rin that their next operation is at the enemy headquarters itself. Meanwhile, at Izumo, IG is still reeling from all the information he just learned. He still cannot believe that his father is alive, and he wonders if his memories are fake. He then realizes that he does know someone who will know the truth. He calls out to Daisy, and Daisy magically appears in the air. But before he can ask her questions, Daisy interrupts him and mentions that Rin wants to talk to him. She then creates a hologram of Rin in front of IG. At PS6, Hattori is leading the operation from their headquarters. Using Juyubei's dimensional sword, they had cut a portal into the underground of the Dazafu headquarters, and another member, Mamoteru, is currently infiltrating it. With that, they commence the operation to abduct IG's sister, Sina. Mamoteru uses his order and summons an ogre. At Izumo, Hiiragi is notified about the breach in their headquarters and tries to organize a defense. IG, Rin, and Daisy appear, and using Daisy, Hattori starts taunting Hiiragi. Hiiragi learns that their target is Sina, and he orders the remaining orders back at base to defend her. The first order to block Mamoteru is Fuwa. Fuwa tries to establish peace using his powers, but Mamoteru leaps over him. His head was then blown off from a light cannon of Mary. Unfortunately, his body was made up of small ogres, so he regenerates his head back. Hattori then feeds him information that Mary uses light to attack, so he just needs to blind her. Mamoteru uses an ogre to steal her glasses, so Hiiragi opts to act as her eyes. He cries out the direction on where to shoot, and Mary shoots. Meanwhile, Hattori instructs Mamoteru on how to dodge. Lauren also arrives using his flight powers and tries to shoot Mamoteru, but he immediately counters with a punch. Hiiragi hypothesizes that there must be a spy feeding Hattori with information, and his eyes immediately suspect Rin. Thus, he changed tactics and advised IG to use his power to command the others instead. IG issues his commands, and just as expected, Mamoteru escapes through another path. Unfortunately for him, a rocket launcher happily welcomes him. Hiiragi laughs maniacally since his plan worked. He actually sent another text message to instruct the others. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Frank kidnaps a sleeping Sina from her room. It turns out that he was a double agent. Another hologram appears in front of Hiiragi, showing Genai, who is bragging about his win. He then greets his son IG, who is also reeling in shock. The next day, Sina wakes up in a yacht surrounded by Frank and Hattori. Frank explains to her that she is currently a bargaining chip. As the adults discuss their plans, Hattori instructs Rin to take care of Sina. While giving her a bath, Rin narrates how IG caused the Great Destruction and caused the death of her parents along with millions of other people. She even told her about how Frank lost his family and wishing to save them. He was granted a time stop ability. As payment for kidnapping her, Genai promised to revive his family. Unfortunately, Hattori is double-crossing him outside and has surrounded him with armed soldiers. Meanwhile, back in Izumo, Iyo uses her ability to predict the enemy's next move and gleans the location of Izanagi Shrine. IG was about to leave, but the others stopped him. They try to explain that Sina is just a bait to get to IG himself, but IG doesn't care. He releases his bindings on the group of 10 and declares that their business together is now at an end. Back in the yacht, Sina warns Rin that her revenge would not come true. After all, IG will die happily to save his sister. She tells her that if she truly wants to hurt IG, then Rin should just stab Sina, just like she did before. Meanwhile, Ayahito helps IG go to Izanagi Shrine. Ayahito questions him why he's trying to save Sina, who will die anyway in 6 months, and IG starts beating him up in response. When they reach Izanagi Shrine, they see a huge cleave on the ground and a chopped up priestess. Back in the base, Hiiragi finds it curious why the Izanagi Shrine is part of Genai's plot. In the yacht, Frank is trying to survive Hattori's soldiers when Sina intervenes. Wait, so this girl can walk, and she is just letting everyone push her in a wheelchair. Now that is a girl boss right there. Sina then makes a deal with Frank. She will threaten to kill herself if Frank dies, and in return, Frank would act as her bodyguard. Together, they can meet Genai and make deals with him instead. Together with Rin, Frank catches up with Sina with all that's currently happening. They explain how her father is Genai, and he is currently the vice director of the Unpublic Safety Division. Sina finds this hard to believe since she remembers her father dying. However, she also realizes this doesn't make sense since she wasn't there to witness it. Meanwhile, Hiiragi and the other members of the group of 10 are closing in on Genai's plan, based on the location of the dead priestesses and the shrines of the other live ones. The 5 cities form a reverse pentagram. In addition to that, there is also a ley line connecting Mount Fuji with Izumo. Hiiragi recalls that one aspect of their research in the past is the use of spiritual energy and ley lines, based on the reverse pentagram and the ley line bisecting it. Hiiragi suspects that Genai is creating a massive, natural-made Veccan coil, the technology behind the conversion of willpower to energy. It looks like Genai is trying to open a gate somewhere, and both his children, IG and Sina, are the keys to the whole thing. In Osaka City, Hattori brings Sina and her entourage into a hotel where they will meet with Genai. Together, they will announce how IG had caused the Great Destruction. After Hattori leaves, Sina tries to contact the outside world using the phones, but she finds that all of their connections are terminated. She even tried to borrow a phone from the front desk, but the one they lent her doesn't have a SIM. She has a plan on how she can save her brother, but all she needs is a way to implement it. During dinner, Sina asks Rin if she would be willing to practice her debates with her to prepare for their upcoming meeting. She also decides to record it to listen to later. They then discuss the topic about how the real person behind the Great Destruction is not IG but Genai. A few hours later, they head over to the meeting place. Sina knows that if she met with them in private, Hattori would probably twist their conversation to make IG the bad guy. To combat this, she secretly called the press all over the country to participate in their meeting. Hattori was shocked and asked her how she did it when he made sure that all the outside connection in the hotel was cut off. Rin reveals that Sina actually just sent the physical record of their conversation to the press using an old-fashioned bike messenger. Despite all of these people, Jenny passes through them with a smile and greets his daughter. Upon seeing him, Sina realizes that Genai is not the father from her memories. However, Genai still hugs her like she was his child and whispers something to her. Sina flinches back, but Genai just apologizes for being an absentee father for 10 years. He must have gotten lost buying milk. Sina calls him out for pretending to be her father and announces to the press the truth about Genai's research agency. She plans to reveal everything to shift the world's anger from IG to Genai. In their vehicle, Hiiragi and the others are watching the live broadcast of the meeting between Sina and Genai. Hiiragi knows that upon seeing the broadcast, IG would definitely try to crash into the meeting. He then instructs Benkei to guard the last priestess. He also sent the rock god Yamaguchi to protect Mount Ibuki's priestess. Meanwhile, he and Io will head to Osaka. Every citizen in Japan is also watching the live broadcast, and they are starting to get angry at Genai. Genai further admits that they really created the orders, but points out that IG is still the one that killed millions of people. To Sina's utter confusion, she agrees with him. She also agrees that IG declared an independent nation and is now at war against the world. Sina is confused, but words come pouring out of her mouth that IG is planning to kill again and Genai is just trying to stop him. Unbeknownst to her, Genai actually mind-controlled her the moment he whispered something to her. This whole meeting and discussion was all planned by Genai. The citizens watching the live broadcast are now rallying and demanding for IG's death. Hiiragi realizes that Genai is planning to use the people's anger to fuel the ley lines. Meanwhile, IG finally lands on Osaka and immediately captures Momotaro. While Genai is further using his hypnosis to kidnap Sina, IG encounters Juyubei standing guard. Before Juyubei can attack, Ayahito uses his skill to open a portal and let them slip past him. IG actually planned to just lure Juyubei far away from the building so they don't have to fight him. Genai is about to leave with Sina, but both Frank and Rin are standing in his way. Hattori tries to defend him by using his domination skill, but Rin immediately threatens to kill him. Nevertheless, Genai just summons his own avatar. IG is riding the elevator, and when it opens, he quickly witnesses Sina in the arms of Genai. IG was triggered, and the two siblings reached out for each other. In the blink of an eye, IG's hand and foot were sliced off. Not only him, but the whole building was cut in half by the dimensional sword of Juyubei standing outside. This dude probably sharpens his sword every day. The whole building shakes and Sina screams when she sees IG's injuries. Genai casually greets him and invites him to join their side. He starts narrating how 10 years ago, he used Sina to open the gate but ultimately failed. Now, he is planning to use her whole life force to unlock it again. Bro is not winning Dad of the Year anytime soon. Of course, IG is still an important part of his plan. Sina asks her brother to just retreat and live his life because she is already giving up on her life. This breaks IG's heart and he starts second-guessing himself. However, he remembers that he doesn't need a reason to save Sina and stands back up. Juyubei notices IG's determination and asks for Genai's permission to fight him. He saw how IG is now using his willpower to move his severed limbs, and he had earned his respect. Genai agrees and Juyubei quickly moves to attack. Meanwhile, IG activates his power to command Momotaro to create ogres. Juyubei wonders if he is going to use the ogres as a meat shield, but his expectations are exceeded when IG instead starts leading the charge. His surprise cost him a few seconds, which let IG get close. At this range, the dimensional sword didn't take effect and IG slams his fist into Juyubei's face. Juyubei stands back up, but before they fight again, Genai announces that this will be a draw. He acknowledges IG's desire and tells him that if he wants to make Sina happy, then he should follow him. A few seconds later, the whole building collapses. IG wakes up and finds himself all healed but in handcuffs. Io appears and explains that Hiiragi has healed him. They are currently hiding in a safe house, and the other members of the group of 10 are staging an invasion on Genai's headquarters. IG wanted to join them, but Hiiragi had ordered Io to stop IG. Thus, Io pushes him into the bed and kisses him. It is all over the news that a building in Osaka had just collapsed after being sliced in half and caused hundreds of deaths. And the culprit? The CCTV cameras captured one Hoshimiya IG running toward the building before the incident occurred. The Prime Minister further announces that IG is the terrorist who caused the collapse. Meanwhile, IG is handcuffed in bed while a girl is trying to change his status from a loser virgin to a Chad. In another location, Hiiragi is leading the group of 10 in their siege of Genai's headquarters. Benkei reports that he has successfully secured one of the priestesses. This means that they successfully stopped the creation of the reverse pentagram. Yamaguchi also calls in informing them that the priestess in her location is safe too. In the cities, the continuous media slander against IG is increasing the people's hatred toward our boy IG. Their emotions are slowly being drawn into the gate, while IG is still busy trying to stop Inyo from making him open her own heavenly gate. Io notices that IG is crying, and she finally realizes how wrong what she's doing is. IG explains that in the past, she only considered Sina as a stepsister. But the more time they spent together, they became a family, and they are the only family each of them has left. Upon hearing this, Io releases IG from his handcuffs and asks him why he doesn't consider Genai as his family. IG tries to explain how Genai is a fake, but Io shows him a family picture of them that they found in Genai's lab. It clearly shows that Genai is truly their father. Io knows about this because she was one of Genai's past experiments. IG recoils and his head aches as he forces himself to remember what is real. He caused the great destruction that killed his father. But is that still true? All of a sudden, Io notices an avatar clinging to IG's head. Daisy then appears and reiterates to IG what she has been saying all along. He is misremembering the past. Back in the battlefield, the group of 10 are summoning their tanks, soldiers, and planes in attacking the base. Hattori is panicking, but Genai is as cool as a cucumber beside him. Meanwhile, Mary is trying to infiltrate the base using her light powers. Unfortunately for her, she encounters a member of the PS6 with the power to alter her 5 senses. Further inside the base in a jail cell, Rin is handcuffed to the wall with Sina in front of her. Rin is still trying to escape from her chains, but Sina asks her if she can really kill IG. They both have symbols in their eye indicating that they are under the hypnosis of Genai. Genai then arrives and wheels Sina outside. Before she leaves, Sina tells Rin that she cannot kill IG because IG is all hers. Genai brings Sina to a massive golden gate. The gate seems very familiar to Sina, but she cannot remember from where. Genai then starts monologuing just like a Disney villain. He explains how his research in the past always ended up failing, but one day, IG reminds him that they are doing the research to help cure Sina's disease. From that moment on, Genai focused solely on his research and abandoned everything else. Then one day, a voice inside his head helped him create the gate theory. While in this world, our physical bodies overrule our minds, there exists another world where the mind overrides the physical world. As he continued his research on mental to energy conversion, Genai came closer to the woman who lived in the mental world. Sina's wish was the power that unlocked the gate and caused the orders to be created. Meanwhile, back in the jail cell, Rin tears her wrist apart to slip through her chains. Good thing she can heal those in a jiffy. At the gate, Sina is reeling from the fact that she is the reason for the great destruction. Genai further narrates that Sina is the first person to gain power. Unfortunately, this caused the gate to break. Thus, Sina is the only person who can reach through the gate and contact the woman on the other side. In the outside world, Yamaguchi the rock god is driving with the priestess when a bright light suddenly blocks her way. At Sina, a small avatar also appears on top of her head, suppressing her memories. Genai glares at the avatar in distaste and uses his order to force Sina to remember. A few seconds later, Sina slowly remembers everything. Genai smiles in victory, but Rin appears with her katana. Before he can cut him in half, Genai's avatar boinks her and gets her wet. Meanwhile, Benkei tries to crawl away from the destruction. Behind him, Juyubei's dimensional sword had cut apart both his motorcycle and the priestess he was guarding. In Yamaguchi's side, the priestess has also been split in half. Now, the reverse pentagram is complete. The other members of the group of 10 also cannot penetrate the base because of the PS6 members' sense-altering abilities. They cannot even rescue Mary. She was about to be killed when IG appeared falling out of the sky. He used his order to manipulate gravity and jumped all the way from Osaka. IG then uses his order to break the roof and fall directly on top of the PS6 member, saving Mary from death. IG finds Sina in a coffin by the gate. Genai greets him and explains that Sina already agreed to cooperate. Genai also tells IG that all he wants is to open the gate, thereby granting everyone's wishes. Currently, Daisy only acts as a relay transfer between the two worlds. IG tries to point out that opening it is nonsense because there might be two conflicting wishes. However, Daisy speaks out and explains that that just means two universes will be formed. She then allows IG to peek into a universe where his wish was granted and he was living a happy life with Sina. Daisy explains that each mind's wishes would just create another universe for them, and this infinite universe is the mental world. Genai tries to explain to IG that this would be a utopia for everyone, but IG still argues back. He points out that wishes only grant happiness because they are hard to fulfill. If they can just wish for anything, and it is immediately granted, true happiness won't exist. Even if he wishes for Sina to be healed, that Sina is not real. Genai implores him to reconsider since his power of domination is a key to the gate. IG doesn't budge. He is the villain of this world and he only cares for Sina. He wakes her up and tries to leave. However, Sina stabs IG and explains that he is not the one who actually caused the great destruction. It was her. Sina starts hallucinating various memories from her past. But then, each of her memories fade to gray as she remembers that these are all fake. The only real thing she remembers is her older brother, shyly gifting her a bead necklace on her birthday. Tears start streaking down her cheeks as she recalls everything she and her brother had gone through. In the present, she tells her brother she loves him and then stabs him in the chest. Meanwhile, Daisy also informs IG that all of his memories are wrong. The small avatar attached on his head is continuously repressing his memories. The others insist that Sina caused the great destruction, but IG wholeheartedly believes that he did it. His father, Genai, then uses his order to force unlock his memories and for him to remember Sina's wish. His mind flashes back to 10 years ago. They were still children when Sina wished for a world where their whole family is together forever. Her innocent wish unlocked the gate, but it birthed a great power that the young Sina couldn't control. The world was destroyed instead, and Sina blames herself. IG consoles his crying sister, and so, when Daisy asks him next what his wish is, IG wishes to bear all of Sina's sins. He sealed both of his and his sister's memories, and during the process, stole her power of domination. Back in the present, the avatar on IG's head breaks upon remembering the truth. Sina also admits that she is really the one who destroyed the world because she didn't want their parents to go through their divorce. That is why she has to take responsibility and help Genai make everyone's wish come true. She thanks IG for the happy memories, but this will be her atonement. IG tries to stop her from leaving, but he just ended up grabbing the necklace he gave her all those years ago. IG tries to use his order to stop her from sacrificing herself, but Sina cuts off his hand. IG reels back in pain and falls to the water below. A few moments later, he wakes up to find himself being healed by Rin. Rin has overheard everything and she is trying to convince him to still try and save Sina. IG had already given up and Rin cried in front of her. She apologizes for trying to kill him to avenge her parents when it turns out he wasn't even the one who caused the great destruction. To show her atonement, she picks up a rock and rams it into her eye, the place where Genai's mind control seal were kept. She then pummels IG and begs him to focus. IG replies that Sina pushed him away, but Rin points out that Sina is just like him 10 years ago. She is also trying to shoulder all the sins alone. If he truly loves her, then he will fight for her. Life returns to IG's eyes, and he asks Rin if he can dominate her again. They kiss and their wish combines, with both of them wishing to make Sina happy. Meanwhile, the gate is slowly starting to open. It was so bright that it removed all the colors on the screen. Hiyaragi and the other orders finally arrive at the scene and confront Genai. Nahara steps forward and announces that he will handle this using his order of self-destruction. He was about to destroy the gate when he suddenly froze. Mary tries to fire her light cannon, but she also freezes too. Frank steps beside Genai and uses his time stop ability. Hiyaragi fires his gun, but the bullet is also stopped. Frank had used his 3-time stop. Juyubei also appears, but before he can attack, IG and Rin appear in a gout of flames. With their orders combined, the two attack Juyubei, regenerating when they get cut and punching him into the ground. IG then confronts Genai while Rin faces off with Frank. Frank is still loyal to Genai because he desperately wants his family back. Meanwhile, Jenai is convincing IG that the Sina he loves chose to sacrifice herself already. However, IG points out that Sina is just doing this because she believes herself to be worthless. She is crying for them, so they have to save her and not another version of her in a fantasyland. He insists that Jenai is just trying to fix past mistakes when he should accept that he failed already. His willpower finally wins against Jenai's and his fist slips through, hitting Jenai in the face. Meanwhile, Hiiragi and Ayahito fire another bullet at Frank. Since he already used his time stop 3 times, he has to choose which one to let go if he wants to save himself. To their surprise, Frank chooses to sacrifice himself and freeze the others as long as he can. When the bullet finally kills him, the stopped bullet resumes and is on its way to hit Sina. Jenai blocks it with his body and falls. IG approaches Sina, but she tells her it's already too late. She is coming. Massive long fingers reach out of the gate. This is the woman behind the gate and the source of all orders. Everyone tries to stop the fingers with their orders, but nothing works. God is above all. The finger touches the earth and color pulses through the ground. Soon, everyone's wishes will be granted. Benkei drops from the sky and tries to use his pulverize order on the finger, but the finger uses an Uno reverse card, pulverizing Benkei's order instead. Yamaguchi also arrives and uses Rock God to push away the finger. To everyone's surprise, it actually worked. Hiiragi guesses that it's because the Rock God is made up of people's grudges. Unfortunately, the finger is still too powerful. IG realizes something, and he calls out to Daisy. He then asks Daisy to unlock his full power, from just 10,000th before into its true mode. Daisy warns him that this might cause another great destruction, but IG is sure he can control it. Thus, IG raises his hand and commands the world to be dominated. He orders it to become a world where Sina can be happy. Color spreads everywhere and his avatar destroys the hand reaching out, pushing it back into the gate. Slowly, the order shining on IG's hand fades away. A few months later, everything had adjusted to the new normal. Jenai's agency took the blame for everything that happened, with IG just becoming one of the victims. The closing of the gate also severed their access to the mental world, dispelling all orders of their powers. IG, Rin and Io are in the cafe waiting for Sina to arrive. They ask IG what his present is for Sina's 14th birthday, but IG actually forgot. He laughs nervously, and when Sina arrives, IG finds something in his pocket. It was Sina's necklace, the one he gifted her all those years ago.